Have you ever felt like life is yanking you in every possible direction? Like you're standing in the middle of a storm with no idea which way to go? No matter how hard you try, you can't seem to gain traction. You move, but don't feel like you're going anywhere. You plan, but still feel stuck in the chaos. If that sounds familiar, trust me, you're not alone. Right now, millions around the world are overwhelmed, not because they lack ambition, or dreams, or motivation, but because the constant noise of daily life is drowning out their focus, fogging up their clarity, and slowly pushing their true potential out of sight. So today, we're going to quiet that noise. We're going to press pause, strip away the chaos, and rediscover something vital: clarity. And we're going to do it through the lens of Stoicism, an ancient philosophy that has helped thinkers, warriors, and leaders for centuries. It's not just about enduring pain or bottling up emotions. It's about embracing calm in the storm, grounding yourself in truth, and showing up with quiet strength, no matter what life throws your way. So if any part of you is nodding right now, saying, "Yes, this is what I need," then I'm truly glad you're here. And hey, if you find value in this journey we're about to take, consider subscribing. It's free, but it fuels what we do, and it means a lot more than you might think. Now, stick with me through the end, because every single moment of this video is packed with practical, powerful insights. They might just be the very thing you've been searching for. Together, let's unlock the timeless wisdom of Stoicism to reset, restart, and refocus, because sometimes, all it takes to shift your entire life is to look at it from a new angle. Let's begin. Let's talk about something deceptively simple, but truly transformative when explored deeply: resetting. More specifically, I want to focus on a concept that's both practical and poetic: clearing the clutter. Just saying it feels like a breath of fresh air, doesn't it? When you hear clutter, maybe you picture a messy desk overflowing with papers, or a closet stuffed with clothes you haven't touched in years. But the clutter I'm talking about goes much deeper. I mean the mental clutter, the emotional clutter, the invisible weight we carry without even noticing. Let me share something personal. There was a time, maybe not so long ago, when everything in my life looked fine on the outside. Deadlines met, goals achieved, routines on point, but inside, I felt off, like my mind was an attic filled with dusty boxes, each box marked doubt, regret, worry, unspoken resentment, and no matter how hard I tried, I couldn't bring myself to clear them out. That's when I knew I didn't just need a break, I needed a reset, a deep one. And that's where the Stoics came in. Seneca, Marcus Aurelius, Epictetus, they all understood something timeless: to see life clearly, you must simplify. You must learn to let go, not just of stuff, but of the noise inside you. And that, my friend, is exactly where our journey now turns. The Stoics didn't just believe in letting go of physical clutter. They believed in discarding the unnecessary internally: the thoughts, the emotions, and the beliefs that silently weigh us down. This principle became my compass, my guiding light. I began a journey that required brutal honesty. I asked myself questions I had avoided for years, not easy ones, but the kind that make you stop mid-thought and go silent for a while. What am I still carrying that no longer serves me? Which of my fears are just old habits dressed in new clothes? This kind of self-inquiry, it's like walking into that dusty attic we spoke of. Every box, every memory, every belief is picked up and examined under the light of awareness. And then, the hardest part, deciding. Do I keep this or do I finally let it go? That's when the real clearing begins. You start to realize that many of your worries aren't warnings. They're distractions, just noise that drowns out what really matters. And once you recognize that, you get to reclaim your space, your headspace, your emotional space, and most importantly, your future. Resetting is about making room for growth, for peace, for something new. It's like prepping a garden in early spring. You don't remove the weeds and the dead leaves because you enjoy the labor. You do it because you know, without that clearing, nothing new can grow. The Stoics taught us that every single day is a fresh page, a new opportunity to realign with who we are and who we want to become. They remind us that freedom doesn't come from how much we own, but from how much we've released, not from what we achieve on the outside, but from the peace we cultivate within. As I began this inner cleanup, I started small, one box at a time, 1 week. I focused on letting go of a grudge that had quietly poisoned my joy. Another week, I worked on silencing the inner voice that kept whispering, "You're not enough." Bit by bit, the load got lighter. Each release felt like I was peeling off a layer of invisible weight. So now, let me ask you, what's cluttering your mind today? What's taking up precious space in your heart that no longer belongs there? Is it resentment over a mistake you made years ago? Anxiety about a future that hasn't even arrived? Is it the impossible standards you've placed on yourself? Or maybe it's certain people in your life, people who drain your energy more than they fill it. Now imagine, just for a moment, if you began clearing that clutter. Imagine the lightness, the space to breathe, to dream again, to grow into someone freer, calmer, more present. Because this isn't just about removing the bad, it's about making space for the good, for something better for you. We just talked about letting go of the things that no longer serve you, thoughts, emotions, even memories that clutter your mind and weigh you down. Now, let's take a closer look at something the Stoics emphasized deeply. Letting go isn't just about removing the bad, it's about choosing not to let those things define you anymore. It's about refusing to let them set the limits of who you are or who you can become. And here's something you need to understand about resetting. It's not a one-time event. It's not some magical button that, once pressed, changes everything forever. Resetting is a continuous process. It's a habit you cultivate day by day. Each morning brings a new opportunity to clear away what no longer belongs and to reinforce what truly does. It's a journey of building resilience, of learning how to bounce back quicker and stronger, because you're no longer carrying unnecessary emotional baggage. So as you're listening right now, ask yourself, what can you reset in your life today? It doesn't need to be something big. Start small. Maybe it's choosing to forgive someone, or finally forgiving yourself. Maybe it's setting aside a worry that's been quietly nagging at you. Remember, each piece of mental clutter you clear makes space for something priceless: peace of mind, clarity, and the strength to face whatever comes next. As the Stoics said, the obstacle in the path becomes the path. Every challenge you face, every bit of clutter you remove, is shaping you, molding you into the person you were meant to be. So let's not reset just once. Let's make it a way of life. Let's make it meaningful, because it is within the clarity of a decluttered mind and heart that we unlock the power to create a life that's truly fulfilling. Now, let's turn to another key concept: restart, to begin again. This is where real grit is tested. This is where your inner strength has a voice. Restarting isn't just about standing back up after a fall. It's about brushing off the dust, taking a deep breath, and stepping back into the ring, even if you're still sore, still uncertain, still healing. It's a test of courage, a true measure of your resilience. And let me be real with you, it's not for the faint of heart. But it is for all of us. Because we all reach moments where the easiest thing to do is simply to give up. But here's where Stoic wisdom shines bright. It teaches us that every new beginning comes from some other beginning's end. I've been there myself. There was a time when I hit rock bottom. I faced a major setback in my career, and everything I had worked so hard to build seemed to collapse right before my eyes. It felt like standing in the ruins of a once glorious castle, a castle I had built, brick by brick, with my own hands. And the temptation to just sit down in the rubble and surrender was overwhelming. But here's the kicker. The Stoics remind us, the impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way. We talked about rising from the places where we fall, turning obstacles into stepping stones. And now, let me share with you the moment that truly shifted everything for me. That's exactly what I did. I made my obstacle the path forward. Restarting isn't about pretending your failures never happened. It's not about brushing them aside like they're insignificant. No, it's about acknowledging them. It's about learning from them. It's about looking your failures directly in the eye and saying, "You won't keep me down." Because here's the truth. Every failure carries within it a seed of potential, a chance to teach us something of deep value. Something success often can't. So I began asking myself, what can I learn from this? How can I grow through this? The answers to those questions? They were the first steps on my journey to restart. I didn't try to reclaim everything I had lost overnight. I didn't chase after instant victories. Instead, I focused on setting small, practical goals, clear, manageable steps that I could commit to. It wasn't about speed, it was about direction and momentum. Each tiny step forward became a personal win, a quiet defiance of failure, a reflection of my resilience. And as I kept going, step by step, my journey began to gather speed. The momentum became real, and so did my sense of inner strength. But let's be honest here, restarting can feel overwhelming. You won't always have a clear path ahead. You won't always know what to do next. That's where a powerful Stoic tool came in for me. Premeditatio malorum, the premeditation of evils. It's the practice of visualizing worst-case scenarios so that you can prepare for them. Not to become pessimistic, but to become grounded. Because when you've already confronted your fears in your mind, taking real-world action becomes less intimidating. It's like rehearsing before a big performance. When the curtain rises, you're ready to step into the spotlight. So let me ask you, how many times have you held back simply because the fear of failure kept you frozen? Just imagine what you could accomplish if you saw each failure as a step up, not a fall down. Picture yourself like a phoenix, rising from the ashes, reborn and renewed. That's the heart of what it means to restart. It's not about never failing. It's about never letting failure have the final say. During my own restart, I also learned something deeply important: the power of community. When I began sharing my struggles, when I allowed myself to be vulnerable, I connected with others who were also walking their own restart journeys. We supported each other, we celebrated each small win, and we pushed through the setbacks together. Remember this: you are not alone in this. Reach out, connect, share your story, because the strength you gain from others might become your greatest asset as you restart your life. And now, the Stoic path leads us to one more powerful idea: amor fati, a concept that redefines how we see life's events, both good and bad, after learning to embrace our setbacks through the lens of amor fati. We begin to see that restarting isn't just about moving on, it's about moving forward with purpose. But to truly move forward, we need one more essential step in our journey: refocusing. Amor fati, the love of fate, means accepting everything that life throws at you, including your missteps, disappointments, and failures. It's not about pretending they didn't happen. It's about looking them straight in the eye and saying, "This is exactly what I needed." Because sometimes, the most valuable lessons life offers come wrapped in hardship. And often, they're lessons we'd never choose, but absolutely need. When you learn to embrace your journey, with all its twists, turns, stumbles, and detours, you realize that starting over isn't just something you have to do, it's something you get to do. So if you're standing at a crossroads right now, wondering whether you have the strength to begin again, I want you to hear this. Every restart is a declaration of hope. It's your way of saying, "I'm not defined by what happened to me, I'm defined by what I choose to do next." Each time you decide to restart, you're taking one more step toward becoming the person you were always meant to be. So don't sit around waiting for that perfect moment to show up. Create it. Make today the day you gather the broken pieces. Lay them out with care, and start building something new, something stronger. Your next chapter? It's already waiting to be written. And it begins with a single choice: to rise, to restart, to embrace the unknown ahead. As Marcus Aurelius once said, very little is needed to make a happy life. It is all within yourself, in your way of thinking. So, think like a Stoic, restart like a warrior, and transform your life into the masterpiece it's always had the potential to become. Now that we've embraced restarting, it's time for another crucial step in our journey of self-reinvention: refocusing. Refocusing is about regaining clarity. It's about keeping your eyes fixed on the prize, realigning your daily actions with your deeper, long-term goals. Because let's be honest, in a world that moves so fast, it's easy to get swept away by distractions, to chase what's urgent instead of what's important, to forget what you're really striving for. The noise of everyday life, emails, deadlines, scrolling screens, can drown out your truest desires and blur your original intentions. And that's where the quiet power of refocusing comes in. It's not about doing more. It's about doing what matters most. It's about stopping, breathing, and gently guiding yourself back to your path. I remember a time in my own life when I felt like I was drifting. My vision was hazy. My efforts were scattered. I was always busy, but not in a way that made me feel fulfilled. It was like being in a boat, oars in hand, wind in the sails, but with no compass. I was moving, yes, but I wasn't really getting anywhere. That's when I came across a powerful Stoic principle that changed everything: prosage, attentive focus. This ancient idea taught me something profound: that true progress begins with mindfulness and intentionality. Refocusing means becoming more deliberate about the thoughts you allow, the people you surround yourself with, and the choices you make every single day. As we just explored, refocusing is a continuous process. It's not something you do once and forget. It's about making space for what truly matters by letting go of what no longer serves you. Refocusing starts with cutting away the unnecessary, the distractions, the trivial obligations, the habits that quietly drain your energy and scatter your attention in every direction. It begins by asking yourself a simple yet powerful question: is what I'm doing right now helping me fulfill my ultimate purpose? If the answer is no, then maybe, just maybe, it's time to let that thing go. Let's get practical. Begin by clearly defining your top 3 life priorities. Ask yourself, what are the 3 things that, if achieved, would have the greatest positive impact on your life? Write them down. Don't keep them in your head where they'll get lost in the noise. Place them somewhere visible, on your wall, desk, or phone lock screen, and each day, make it a point to take at least one small action that brings you closer to one of those goals. Because in truth, it's not the bold, dramatic moves but the small, consistent actions that shape the course of our lives. The Stoics believed that it's not the grand gestures that define us, but the quiet, daily decisions we make when no one's watching. Refocusing also requires something else: setting boundaries, clear, strong lines that guard your time, energy, and peace of mind. It means having the courage to say no to unnecessary commitments, to projects or relationships that don't align with your true path. And sometimes, it means being okay with disappointing others so you don't end up constantly disappointing yourself. Stoic philosophy reminds us that our time and our focus are among the very few things we can truly control. So we must protect them fiercely. Here's a question to reflect on. How often do you keep doing something just because it's what you've always done? Maybe it's a job that no longer inspires you, a habit that brings no benefit, or a relationship that takes more than it gives. Now imagine the clarity, the relief, the freedom you would feel if you started saying yes only to the things that align with your deepest values and highest goals. That's what refocusing is all about. During my own refocusing journey, I had a hard realization. My energy was scattered across too many directions. I was chasing too many goals at once, which meant I wasn't making any real progress in the areas that truly mattered. So I took a step back. I paused, and I re-evaluated the entire path I was on. I started trimming the clutter, not just physical clutter, but the mental and emotional clutter too. I cut down on meaningless commitments, limited my social media use, and became more intentional with how I spent my free time. Each distraction I let go of felt like taking off a blindfold, and my goals started coming into sharp, vivid focus again. But here's the truth. Refocusing isn't something you do once and forget. Life changes. Our goals evolve, so our focus must evolve too. It's like recalibrating a compass when you realize you've drifted slightly off course. It's not failure, it's part of the journey. It's how we stay on track. And if you're wondering, is it too late to refocus? Let me remind you of a timeless Stoic truth. It's never too late to become who you might have been. Every single moment you're given is a new opportunity to pause, reset, and return to the path that's meant for you. After learning how to refocus yourself, the next step is just as crucial: maintaining that clarity, staying true to your path and living in alignment with your deepest aspirations. Remember this: your past decisions do not have to dictate your future. The power to shift your focus, to realign your life, still lies in your hands. Right here, right now. So take a moment today and ask yourself, what am I focusing on? Is it truly what matters most to me? If not, then maybe it's time to change direction. Because refocusing is about more than just reaching your goals. It's about crafting a life that's truly worth living, a life that reflects your core values, your vision, and the person you're striving to become. Don't wait for tomorrow. Don't wait for next week. Begin today. Let each step you take carry intention. Let each decision stem from mindfulness. And then, like puzzle pieces falling into place, you'll begin to see a picture form, a life not only of success, but of true fulfillment. And now, as our journey today nears its close, there's one final but vital topic to explore. How do we keep the momentum going? Starting fresh is important, resetting your compass, restarting your engine, or refocusing your lens. But maintaining that energy, continuing to move forward even after the initial spark begins to fade? That's where the real challenge lies. And, often, it's also where the most rewarding part of the journey begins. Think about it. Every great story you've ever heard, every inspiring transformation you've admired, it didn't happen overnight. They were built on consistency, perseverance, and an unwavering commitment to the end goal. And here's where a timeless Stoic principle comes into play. Hypomene, the virtue of endurance. It's about marching on, sticking to your path, even when it gets steep, even when the terrain gets rough, even when no one's clapping for you anymore. Think back to the last time you started something new. Maybe it was a fitness plan, a business idea, or a personal project you deeply cared about. At the beginning, it was exciting. You were full of energy. Your mind lit up with visions of success. But as time passed, maybe that enthusiasm began to wane. Maybe setbacks appeared, ones you didn't expect. That's normal. It's a natural part of any meaningful journey. But here's the truth. Success isn't about starting strong. It's about continuing strong. So how do we maintain this momentum? Start by setting small, incremental goals. Break your big, audacious dreams into bite-sized, achievable tasks. Because every small win gives you a boost of confidence. It reminds you that you're making progress, and progress, even in the tiniest steps, is what keeps your spirit alive. Keep your steps steady, and your focus sharp. That's how you sustain momentum. Because personal growth is like climbing a mountain. You don't leap to the summit in one grand motion. You move one step at a time. Take one breath at a time. And one day, when you pause and glance back, you'll be amazed at how far you've come, even if you once thought you couldn't. Another essential tool to keep your momentum alive is reflection. Make it a habit to regularly check in with yourself. What have you learned lately? What would you do differently if given the chance? And most importantly, what can you genuinely celebrate? Reflection isn't just about giving yourself a pat on the back. It's about honest self-assessment, about recognizing the gaps without judgment, then learning from them and adjusting your path forward. So let me ask you, when was the last time you truly paused to appreciate how far you've come? So often, we become our own harshest critics. In our constant chase for more, we forget to acknowledge the progress we've already made. But Stoicism teaches us the value of gratitude, not just for others, but for our own growth and effort. Gratitude doesn't just lift your mood, it strengthens your resolve to keep going. And speaking of perseverance, never forget, you're not in this alone. Even when the journey feels solitary, there are people around you. People who care, who support, who are cheering for you. Lean on your support network. Share your story, ask for guidance, and offer help in return. Because when you know you're not alone, keeping up momentum becomes so much easier. Like having someone waiting at the finish line, or even better, someone running beside you. As we continue forward, let's carry with us the timeless Stoic wisdom that the worth of life lies not in accolades or achievements, but in how we act and how we respond every single day. Each day is a new chance to act with clarity, to live with purpose. So as you move ahead, take every step with intention, face every challenge with courage, and greet each new morning with a heart full of determination. Thank you for joining me today on this journey with Stoic Glow. Remember, the path won't always be easy, but every step you take is worth it. For more inspiration, Check out the video popping up now on your screen. Keep striving, keep thriving, and until next time, keep living the Stoic way.